Hi everyone, Scorp here, going with another deck profile today. Today we have Light Sorcerers, and this is going to abuse the fact that Mystical Elf's really overpowered, and we're basically playing a Mystical Elf turbo deck, and we're starting off with the Leader of Lamoon. I wanted a level 5 or higher Spellcaster that is light, so there's not really many options, unfortunately. For light spellcasters, you've got Musician King, which definitely could have been, but this deck is more female in nature, so I use Lamoon. You could also use Ill Witch, but not my favorite card. So I use Lamoon. Just take your pick. Then 3 Mystical Elves. This is what this deck's based around. This isn't a light deck. This is a Spellcaster light deck. So it's merely focused on light spellcasters, not just buffing up light creatures. If I wanted to buff up light creatures, I'd probably be branching out past spellcasters and playing something not like a Blue Eyes package, but some other light creatures. So wouldn't just stick to this spellcaster package. Next up, Brogdal. This is just a great tech card for destroying zombies. It's also one of the strongest light creatures. At 1600 attack, level 4. It's just straight up, it's basically just a better Musician King. Although, definitely, if you're playing against insects and you know it, bring Musician King, because insects kind of have this thing called Jiraiya, and it will destroy this entire deck. 100% and completely. If you know you're going up against it, side deck in some Eradicating Aerosols. This deck can actually make use of those, so if you know you're going up against, you can use those counter cards and basically have targeted Dark Holes. It's great. So next up, 3 Genins. This is just fusion fodder for the elves to turn into Mystical Elves. 3 Magician of Faith. These are great for Darkness Approaches, which is in this deck. They're great for the Heavy Storms. You could play a whole swath of spells. There's a whole bunch of Yamis in this deck that you can revive with these. We'll see the spell package later, but Magician of Faith, it's just 3 extra copies of those, and after you use them, you can fuse them off into the elves to make Mystical Elves. Absolutely wonderful. Definitely recommend 3 of these. 3 Stern Mystics. These are Dark Piercing Lights on a stick, and they're light sorcerers, so they're going to get a whole bunch of buffs from the Mystical Elves. 3 Unhappy Maidens. These are fusion fodder to fuse with the elves coming up. 3 Wing Egg Elf, 3 Dancing Elf. All of these are fusion fodder. And then a single Ancient Tree of Enlightenment to stop traps. You'll notice that I didn't put a Temple of Skulls in this deck. This deck plays a lot of magic cards, and I don't feel like dealing with it. So, 3 Yamis to change the field for us, 3 Heavy Storms to get rid of enemy traps, Soul of the Pure, 1 of, this can get revived, so it's basically a 4 of or more, because Darkness Approaches times 3. So infinite of all of these spells. 3 Book of Secret Arts, 3 Bright Castles, and a Goblin Fan to this Teidon Simburioku. Same leader abilities as the Dark Spellcasters, so extended support range, increased strength, weaken fiends. Pretty standard stuff, not great, but not terrible. There's a bunch of cards that I didn't put in this deck. Mahavelo, not really useful enough. Fairy's Gift, not good enough. There's not that many light spellcasters, so definitely definitely a hard group to find enough. You could technically make a Musician King fusion deck. I forget exactly what the fusion is for this thing. I'll be honest. But you could fuse for it a whole bunch. But it's not strong enough to really warrant going for that. So that's why I go with the Mystical Elf Turbo. And Mystical Elf's good enough. So let's see here. Let's go. You play Fiends or something. That should be fun. This deck doesn't have that much deck cost room, really, if you're wanting to stay under 1,000. It plays a lot of heavy spells, so just watch out for how expensive that gets. We don't need that, but this will be good. Pegasus does play some obnoxious spell cards, or trap cards, so we can make it so that his mirror walls don't matter. Goblin Secret Remedy is a good start for us. It's a good start for him too, so. LB incredibly broken. So I'm just going to play out 3 Mystical Elves here. So this deck goes a little bit slower than some of the other decks that we've played, but the end result is devastating. So I'm going to flip this over, move it forward. I'm going to flip this over. And this, and then I am going to flip Darkness Approaches, and then flip this over, and now he should attack into me because my cards are face down again. Oh, I thought he had strong cards. That was a Mystic Clown. So I will play another Mystical Elf. And this is without using Magician of Faith to duplicate this even more. I'm already just going insanely strong. Just actually killed him. Whoops. And I had another Darkness Approaches that was going to go off next turn, so this deck incredibly quickly ramps up to having absolutely absurd power level creatures over the course of a couple turns. This deck is really weak to decks like Twin-Headed Thunder Dragons. If your opponent's playing lights, you're going to have a bad time. But Twin-Headed Thunder Dragons are really brutal to this deck because Twin-Headed Thunder Dragons just get to you so fast that you lose. You can't set up against them, and if a deck doesn't let you set up, you're pretty much just not going to win against them with this deck. Mako's always fun. That's just one of the major concerns with this deck is you are slightly too slow at setting up, which is never an issue against the AI because the AI doesn't come and challenge you super quickly. So one thing to note about Mystical Elf, or Magician of Faith, it will always put the card in front of you, behind you, right of you, and then left of you, in order of precedence, and then it starts putting them in the diagonals. I think it's right front, back left, back right, or something is the order precedent. I just remember the first like 2 or 3. But this let me put this here, so it's easier for me to play it in the right spot. So I drew a fusion for myself. Leave this face down for a turn. Unfortunately, against Mako, I'm going to have to do a little setup, especially since he equipped an Aqua Chorus, that card. Nothing this deck can't handle. I'm going to play Stern Mystic as one of my beaters. I will wait at least 2 turns probably before I flip that, just so that I can get some more value out of it. That'll also help me avoid like Violent Rain. And he played an Umi. Wow, I am impressed. We can... I'm just gonna start with that. Those should be strong enough, especially if he attacks me. And I caught the Roaring Ocean Snake special. Do note that Stern Mystic's special is all cards and not just your opponent's cards, which does make it slightly worse, but it's still extremely useful. I'm gonna go ahead and use this. I will put this one in defense, and I will flip the other one. He can't get to that Yami, so I'm going to end up flipping it next turn. So he couldn't use an Umi or anything on it. Since I'm going for lethal, I will use Heavy Storm. So that card that I was considering attacking was probably a Tears of the Mermaid. And this will just finish the game. So make sure you use Stern Mystic appropriately so you don't end up flipping your own cards over. But super nice for a bunch of information without having to play a Dark Piercing Light. Otherwise, this deck is slightly slower than a lot of the other decks that I've shown, but it definitely gets the job done in terms of having enough damage. get over almost any opponent. Again, this Zera the Mant opponent is a pretty good person to just show off decks against. Unfortunately, he's very dangerous, but what can you do? If you lose, you lose. Sometimes these opponents just blatantly high roll, and it's something you just have to deal with. Against him, play around Change of Heart, make sure your creatures are at least one space away from your deck leader. Their AI does not take terrain into account when it tries to attack you, unless you're standing on crushed terrain, in which case it does for some reason. Approaches. I'm going to play in defense to check for Gorgon's Eye. Now I really want to see what he has, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip my Mystical Elves. I'm going to play around some Mirror Forces here, because I expect that he has them. And he does have Mirror Forces, plural. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this in defense. Going to fuse. One of these, and I'm just going to crash it into this Mirror Force. Now he won't attack me even if I flip that back face down. Now, I drew another one. I'm going to, again, get rid of this Mirror Force. No, that didn't trigger my Mystical Elves effect, which I forgot doesn't. But that should be okay. I should have well more than enough damage on my board. So I can make another. And I would like to again see what he has face down. Again, he won't attack me because of his Crush card. So I'm going to Darkness Approaches. I did this in the wrong order, doesn't matter, but just a reminder, flip these first. He's gonna probably Mimicat a Mirror Force? Oh, he didn't. Cool. Now, I really don't want him to hit me with this Stern Mystic with a Change of Heart, so I'm going to move it. My creatures do enough damage that I don't want him to one-shot me with them. I do want rid of that, just so that I can play more monsters next turn, and it's kind of in the way. Also, every single one of these attacks is going to stun my creatures, which is pretty unfortunate. Tremendous Fire, while annoying, doesn't matter too much. I'm going to hit this. This should stun my creature, so he won't move. For right now, I'm going to use Darkness Approaches. Let me flip these and give them a whole bunch more strength. Right now, I don't even have to play around Ruryoku because my creatures are so strong. I will be using that next turn. As I go for lethal. Oh. Well, that's good. They're both monsters. So that means that if I attack this, it'll get out of the way for my Stern Mystic to lethal him. And, like, remember, I wasted, like, 4 Mystical Elf specials here, or flip effects. And this thing is a 7,000 attack creature. So, this deck creates really strong creatures. It's really, really good at it. And it also uses a bunch of spells. You can change out the spell package for your opponent to make it even better. And that's just kind of how light spellcasters win. Oh, if you guys have any questions or suggestions, put them down below in the comment section. And I intend to probably be doing a Spellcaster playthrough next. Thanks everybody for watching, and have a nice day.